Do you remember your first love? Not the last one, not the easiest one. The first one, the one who taught you what it felt like to hold someone's hand for the very first time. The one whose name still feels familiar in your chest, even after years. What if you had the chance to face them again? 10 years later, no filters, no running, just truth. 10 years ago, they were inseparable. Now, they live in the same city, but in completely different worlds. They haven't seen each other. They haven't called. They never explained. Ten years.
Why
10
now?
years since they last stood this close to each other. Back then, they were just kids trying to understand love.
thought I
Now,
buried
they're adults
this.
pretending they don't still remember. Daniel enters first. He walks in like a man who has rehearsed this moment in his head 100 times, but still doesn't know what to say. Elena enters moments later, and then she steps in, the girl who once knew his secrets, now a woman who hasn't spoken to him in a decade. They see each other, and just like that, 10 years disappear, but the silence doesn't.
Hey,
Hi.
They both smile, not because it's easy, but because it's safer than breaking. Daniel looks at her carefully. He notices she stands differently
you look
now,
different.
more guarded,
Older?
stronger,
No,
less willing to fold.
stronger.
I didn't think
Elena
you'd
studies
actually
him
come.
too. He
I
looks
almost
the
didn't.
same,
Why
but
did you?
heavier,
I guess
like life
I got
pressed
tired
down
of
on him
wondering.
quietly.
I feel so vulnerable
Neither moves
right now.
first,
It's
because
hard to
stepping
open up,
forward
but
would
I
mean
need to.
admitting they never
Please, just
truly
listen.
stepped away. They sit across from each other, 2 chairs, a small gap, but the distance between them is bigger than the room. It's made of missed birthdays, unanswered messages, assumptions. Daniel leans back slightly, a man trying not to look affected. Elena crosses her arms briefly, a woman reminding herself she survived without him. Their eyes meet again, and both quickly look away, because eye contact feels too honest. They start with the usual things: work, life, busy schedules,
how's life?
the safe topics. Daniel nods as she speaks,
Busy, safe,
but he's not really listening.
Safe?
He's comparing her voice
predictable.
now to the one he memorized at 17. Elena smiles politely, but she's scanning his face for something. Regret? Guilt? A hint that she still mattered? Their words are calm, their bodies are not. Watch closely. Her fingers tap lightly against her knee. That's not impatience, that's anxiety. His jaw tightens every time she pauses. That's not irritation, that's restraint. They both want to ask the same question, but neither wants to lose control first. Silence fills the room again, and this time it feels heavier, because the small talk has expired.
10
There's
years
something
is a
sitting
long
between
time.
them. It doesn't have
You
a name,
disappeared.
but it has weight. 10 years
You stopped
ago,
answering.
something ended, but it never fully closed. He thought she stopped fighting. She thought he stopped caring. Neither knew the other was waiting, and waiting turned into pride, and pride turned into distance, and distance turned into a decade. Elena exhales slowly. That breath? It's not random. It's courage gathering. Daniel notices. He braces himself, because he knows the real conversation is coming. The energy changes. You can feel it. This is no longer nostalgia. For a split second, they both remember. Cut to teenage versions laughing. The way she used to laugh without covering her mouth. Cut to him walking her home. The way he used to look at her like she was the only person in the world. Back to present. They weren't just young, they were certain. And certainty is dangerous when you don't know how to communicate. Elena's eyes soften, not with weakness,
You were my
with
first
memory.
everything.
Daniel leans
You were
forward
mine
slightly,
too.
not to argue, but to understand.
Why didn't you fight for
There
us?
it is. The
I
moment
thought
before
you didn't
truth.
want me to.
The space where pride
Would you have
decides whether
stayed?
love gets another voice. They both realize something at the same time. They didn't stop loving. They stopped speaking. And silence is louder than heartbreak. They sit there, 2 adults, 2 first loves, 2 people who spent 10 years pretending they weren't affected. The air feels different now. Less awkward, more honest. And then, one unspoken question hangs between them. What if we were both wrong?